Hello everyone, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I thought I would bring you another fun fold card tonight. I did one, the last video I did was the square card with the die cut toppings. I have them somewhere laying here that you can see them, I hope. If not, I've got my cards from today. Oh, here they are. This is what we did last week. In fact, I'll show you the one that was this little, we did die cuts at the top and you just opened it up and got to see it. I forgot to turn my iPad on so that I could make sure that I'm where I need to be on here. So here we go. So anyway, that's what we did last week, and this week's card is going to be this right here. I did the same pattern as far as the stamps and stuff, and then this fold is like this, where you have a panel here and then the top of your card here, and it's held together by die cuts or squares, whatever you cut out, and then you stamp your saying in under either one of your panels or your die cut, whatever, and just so it's hidden that you don't see it out here on the sides. So this is the card I'm going to be making tonight. I do have several samples, and what I did was I took all of the samples from what I did last week and showed you. We actually did this card last week as far as doing the video, and here it is in the type of card that I'm doing today. I just did with rectangles and put the sayings inside. So anyway, I'm trying to move my thing up so you can see a little better. So I did that, and then I did a moose card. Here's my moose card last week, and then this week I just changed it up a little bit so that we could show that you can use the same stamps but do different folds. The card I did in my video this morning on Facebook Live was this little snowman, this one right here, and that was last week's. So you can see there's a little bit of a difference, but basically the same, if that makes enough sense. And then we did the this one with the nativity on it. So you can see it's a little bit different because the saying is up with the rectangle instead of out of another die cut. So a little bit different, but still a little bit the same. And then I have two other samples that I made. This one was actually from last year, and I saw it on Pinterest, and I had done it last year and I had put it away, and I was going through some cards and I found it, and that's what prompted me to do this fun fold tonight. So this is, it's basically the same, but that's one that I did. And then I also did one, I wanted to play with the Santa Claus, and so I did that, and he's got Winka Stella on his hat and the little ball on his hat and his cuff there, and I did the Santa, just put a Merry Christmas with a little jewel. So those are all the samples of different ways and different cards you could use. Now you can use your imagination and do a lot more different die cuts or whatever papers to put it together. There's limitless ideas. I do want to mention that I do put a PDF over in my Facebook page, Stamp Crazy VIP, that has all the measurements of my cards and the directions. So if you want to go over there, it's Stamp Crazy VIP, and you can join my Facebook group. You can get all the card techniques, all the PDFs. I have every PDF of every technique or fun fold, the series I'm doing now on fun folds, for you to be able to see, okay? And also, I do have a host code. If you do not have a demonstrator and would like to place an order, I would love to be your demonstrator. I have a website, which is ritaholmes.stampinup.net, that you can shop at. You can use this host code, and I would very much appreciate that if you did that. I also, you can always get me by email. I have all my information right here if you want to jot any of that down. I also would love for you to share this video as you're watching it so that other people, other stampers would be able to get out there and see. So I'm going to move my stuff over right now. We're going to get ready and we're going to make this card. Super simple. I will tell you the measurements as I go along, just so that you will have them. Okay, so let me get my piece of scrap paper out. Okay, right here. I already got it. What am I doing? Okay, let's go with all the card stuff. Okay, here's all my pieces for my cards. Let me show you the stamp set I'm using, which is known for the holidays. So I'm going to use the little house. I'm going to use this little gnome, the holly jolly everything, and then on the inside it says there's no place like gnome for the Christmas season. So I'm using that. I will be using this little tag punch, which actually is behind my holly jolly Christmas, if you can see that. It just kind of back there and holds that up a little bit. So I'm using that. And then on my die cuts, I'm using the stitched circle for the white, and I use the third one coming from the center. I always count from the center, so it's the third one I use for my white. For my red that's on there, I'm using this, I think it's this one. Let me make sure. Yes, it's the biggest one. You see that there's two different sizes. These are the smaller, these are the larger. So it's the biggest one on the smaller side, if you can see that. It's right here. And then I'm using on the the plain layering circles, I'm using the largest circle in the whole bunch. So that that's my green circle. And then I'm also using, for my little holly jolly everything, I am using, it's over here. Let me get that, show you what set that's in. It's a little different. I knew I'd forget something. I don't have it on magnet yet because I'm lazy. Do you all ever get like that? It's out of the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and it's the smallest little frame. And I'm using that. Okay, so there's all the stuff that I'm using. Sounds like a lot of stuff, doesn't it? But anyway, it's to make our cards. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to glue these two together and set them to the side. Get them out of my way. And I'm going to need to move things around so you can see. Wonder if I can bring that out a little bit. Oh, what I do. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and put that into the center of my green. So there we go. We're going to lay that to the side. We'll be using that after we stamp on this. We'll glue this afterwards when we stamp on that. And then here is my card. And your card measures 7.5 by 4 1/4, scored at 2 inches. So you lay it here and you score it 2 inches right here. And then you want to just fold that down. Give it a really good crease. And that's the top of your card, okay? So that's the top of your card. And what we're going to do is I have another piece that's measured 2 by 4 1/4 that will be here at the bottom. And then I have 2 pieces of DSP. This is out of the Heartwarming Hugs DSP, measured 1 3/4 by 4. That's going to go here and here. So let me just glue those onto the card so that they can have a chance to dry. See if we can get that on there a little straight. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. It's going to go into the center of the 2 by 4 1/4 piece. Had to pull it off of that card so I could see what I'm doing. And there we go with that. So there's our pieces of our card. Here is our inside, which is 5 1/4 by 4. Now I'm going to glue that down, and I know I'm gluing it down before I stamp, but the reason being is I don't want to stamp till my card's together, so I can make sure that I get that saying in under where the die cut is. So I'm just going to glue this in. I know a lot of people don't like doing that. You got to have a little confidence in your stamping, I guess, to be able to do it. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm gluing that down. I've got this glued down and this. And we're going to set this to the side, and we're going to go ahead and stamp. Now I went ahead, of course, and got everything stamped because I wanted it to be able to dry. And I'm getting a piece of paper. I forgot my little scrap. So I'm pulling the scrap off of my work table over there. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp the little house onto my circle. And I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper under that. So I'm just going to stamp high. And there we go. We've got that stamped. We'll set that to the side. And then we're going to do Holly Jolly everything onto this piece. I hope you all can see that. Make sure I got that turned on the right side. Yes. There we go. So we're going to ink that up. We're going to come in and hopefully I'm getting that where it needs to go. There we go. So we got our Holly Jolly everything. Okay. We'll set those aside. I'm going to take my little gnome guy and I'm going to ink him up and stamp him on a scrap piece of paper. Okay, so he's ready to color. The only thing we're going to have to stamp is the inside of the card once we get it all put together. So let me show you how easy this goes together, and I decided to wait and color everything just with you guys. If you are not used to using our Stampin' Blends, they're great. So I'll be using those so you can see about coloring with them, although some of this stuff is so small we don't have room to shade it, but that's okay. That is okay. I'm using a ton of colors. Let me just show you what all colors is used in here. Here we go. We have the light and dark crumb cake. We have light and dark soft suede. We have dark, so saffron, I think, yes. We have the light and dark smoky slate. The light and dark real red. We have the dark balmy blue. And we have the light Granny Apple Green. A lot of colors, okay? Looks intimidating, doesn't it? But it's not, I promise you. I promise you it's easy. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take and I'm going to take my dark of my crumb cake and I'm just going to go in under my little house, and then I'm going to, let me make sure I'm up here where you can see. Then I'm just going to try to kind of outline some of these lines here. I don't have to be real careful. And then I'm going to do these little knot holes right here. Have them dark. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my, I want to take my soft suede, I'm going to just use the light I think, and I'm going to do these rocks. I want these little pebbles to be just a little bit darker. So now I'm going to do my doorknob and my door frame right here. It's just going to add a little bit of color and stuff there. Then I'm going to take my light crumb cake. I always use my dark first, and then I'm just going to swirl this on, and it will start to blend over everything. And once it dries, that'll all be blended in. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to color in my house here. I guess you can call it a house, I don't know. I'm doing my video here at night. I really should do it in the day when I have better light. My old eyes are getting to where they can't see. So I'm just coloring in my house light. I've done them dark before. I wanted to do this one kind of light. I like it. There's no reason why we have to do them all the same. Are you guys like that? Do you like to change things up when you're stamping and been stamping a while? So there's the house. Oh, I want to bring in my light soft suede, and I'm going to do this window right here, just the frame of it. Frame in my window. I'm going to take my dark so saffron, and I'm going to color in my window to make it look like there's light coming in. That's always a good thing. My Granny Apple Green is going to be my grass down here. And you don't have to be real careful with that either, because you can add extra grass in there if you want. There's no rhyme or reason for that. And you want to do your leaves too. Don't forget them up here. And as you see, I'm not doing a lot of shading with that because there's not a whole lot to shade. I am going to come back in with my dark crumb cake, and I'm going to I'm barely touching my cardstock because I'm just barely putting in some little bit of depth in there in some of the lines. But as you can see, I'm just barely touching that. I didn't want to do any stark lines with it. Now we're going to color the door, and with the door we're going to make a red door on here. And I'm going to use the dark first, and I'm going to take, and I'm going to go up all these lines here. There we go. Then we're going to take the light. We're going to color in. I hope I did that right. Yes, I did. Then we're going to take in the light, and we're going to just color in our door. I wanted my door to stand out. So there's my door. And again, I'm going to come back in with my dark, and I'm just going to wisp up a little bit on here, just not much, to add some depth, if you can see that. I'm going to take my light gray, and I'm going to use a small tip on this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of do this wire, and then the tops of each one of my bulbs. I'm making them gray. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do my bulbs in different colors. So I'm going to take, and I think I haven't used blue in any of my bulbs. We're going to do some blue in here. So I'm going to put a couple blue bulbs. I think I'll put a red bulb out here. And we'll do green. And I'll do 2 yellow ones. And there's my little gnome house color. There is a little white spot down here. That's the door. I'm going to touch that up, because you can always do that. I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and I am going to just go over my bulbs to give them like a little bit of glitter or light. And there we go. So that's our house. So we've got him done, or her. Now we're going to do our little gnome guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some red. I'm going to make him a red hat. I'm just coloring in with the dark. Out of all these colors of Stampin' blends I brought out here, I forgot to bring the skin color. But we'll get it. Okay, his boots are going to be the dark gray. I just didn't want anything real black on that, so I used dark gray. I'm going to take the dark red again, and I'm going to do his little arms right here, like he's got a suit on, and it's actually right here too. And it's on this side. It's hard to figure out that because of his beard. And then what I did for his beard, I just took the light smoky slate, just because I wanted it to have some little bit of color. And I took and just added some lines of gray down through it. So there's his beard. Okay, let's get the face color out real quick. It's right here. It's crazy that I'm forgetting everything tonight, but that's okay. I do this live and that's just me. I'm using the dark petal pink, and that's going to be for his little hands and his nose. Makes him kind of come to life, doesn't it? There we go. That's him. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him and I'm going to cut him out real quick. How many like fussy cutting? You know, we kind of wish they would make dies for everything anymore, but I'm here to tell you, dies get expensive. So on little things like this that are pretty easy to cut, I'm all there. I'm about the cutting. And I don't think you have to be perfect. Now when I come around this bell, I'm going to cut the bell. No, I'm not going to cut the bell off. I'm going to cut part of the, let's get all this paper out of the way. I'm going to cut part of the bow off because that's not going to be seen when I'm done. So these are the sharpest scissors. I got my little paper snips in there, but these have such a tiny end, and that I kind of been using these instead. Of course, they're from Amazon, like everything else I own. If it's not from Stampin' Up, it's from my Amazon. Is anybody else that bad out here? I'm just kind of getting in some areas that I want to take out a little bit more of, just so it looks. There we go. He's cut out. Our card is ready to put together. I want to show you how to assemble this card because this is just what I think is best. We're going to take our little house and we're going to glue it onto our other two circles. So we've got that glued down. Now, your card base is like this. This does not get attached. So what I do is I stand this up and line up the edge. If you're a little off where I'm here, I'm going to trim that. You line up your edge. And that's how you're going to do your card. So what I'm going to do on the front and bottom, I'm going to put my fingers up here so I know that's the very top. I'm going to put glue at the very top. And then I'm going to come down across just to do right at the very bottom, because that's where I'm going to have my circle hold on. So what I do is I pick it up, make sure all that's even, lay it down and put my fingers on both of them, and then I decide where I want this. If it's in the middle or the side, I kind of like it to the side. And then I'm going to press those down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it up and just make sure I don't have any glue showing here, because we don't want it to attach to the card. Now I'm going to turn this over and trim this piece real quick with my scissors. There we go. So that's better. So there we have our little gnome house. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gnome, and I think I'm going to put him down here just like I have the other one. And I'm going to use the tiny glue dots on him. And I'm going to put one at his head, on his hat, to hold him onto the upper part of the card. And then I'm going to come down here lower and put a couple of them. I'm using my minis because I keep forgetting to bring me some big ones in here to put in my, where I keep my supplies. So there we go. We're going to flick these little pieces off if I can get them. So we have all those off. Lost my garbage can. And then I'm going to put him right here. I think that's a good place for him. And then what I have is these gilded gems right here. And I'm going to take, I'm using the bigger one because it covers that bell really well. And I'm just going to lift that up and bring it over and put it on the bell. There you go. So that covers that bell up. Now it's time to stamp our inside. Well, I've got to put the Holly Jolly Christmas on here. So what I've got, if I can pick it up, is this little tag punch. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of it. Not going all the way out because it's going to stick out the sides a little bit. And we're going to take and we're going to lay that in the center there. I'll center it up a little better. So hard. I'm going to lay that down that way and do it this way. I think I can get it to better. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some few of the dimensionals and just put here on this. And then we'll pop them off. And that's going to go right up here at the... And you can put it wherever you want. I just chose to put it up there. So there's the finished part of the front. Now we're going to take our stamp. We're going to ink it up. And make sure I set it the right way. And what I do is when I pick my card up, I kind of like put my fingers right here, my thumbs like at the center, so I'll know kind of at the area I want to be in. So I'm going to stamp. And there's my saying on the inside, and I'll put this down and make sure it's covered. And there we go. That is the card. And like I said, all of the measurements, if you need the PDF, is over on the Stamp Crazy VIP page and on Facebook. You're more than welcome to go get that. It's a fun fold. And as you see, I did a lot of different samples with it. I did all Christmas. But, you know, there's just a lot of different little samples you could do with the rectangles. Now, the rectangle sizes are 3 3/4, 3 and a... Oh, I forgot again. They are... Let me get them. They are... 3 3/4 by 3 is the, like the blue one here, or the green on here, and then the white or the very vanilla, is 3.5 by 2 3/4. And that's how I cut. I didn't use dies. I just cut those on my paper trimmer for the squares. If you need to know that size, you might want to jot that down. You can always run this back and be able to hear it. Because that is not on my PDF. My PDF is done with the round, with the circles. It has the the directions for the circles. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my fun fold tonight. I'm going to do another one next week, and I hope that you'll be able to come back and watch. Please, if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Share my video if you can, and just see if you got any other stampers out there that'll be able to see it. I would really appreciate that. So you all have a nice night or day whenever you're watching this, and I will be back with you soon.